Hey everybody, Questwise here. Today I want to talk about Basic Fantasy Role-Playing Game by Chris Gonerman. So this is the third edition. I got this actually through a trade over on Google Plus, and I'm kind of glad I did. I've had a lot of friends tell me that if I'm a fan of the OSR and that type of a gaming experience, this is definitely one of the books to get. I also own Iron Falcon. I've had that for a while too. That's also by Chris Gonerman, and that kind of emulates some of the earlier stuff of D&D as well too. So this one's kind of its own beast. It's definitely kind of an old school feel to it, but it's got a little bit of a 3.5 D&D kind of feel to it. But it really captures that sort of old school feeling and makes this a perfect game to teach new people with as well too. I've had a chance to read over this for the last couple of days, and I have to say I'm highly, highly impressed with it. As a little bit of background, and if you watch some of my other videos, you already know this about me, but I've been playing since about 1991, 1992. I started off with some Palladium stuff, but when I came back home to tiny little northern Michigan, all I could find was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition, and so I picked that up and I dove very, very deeply into that until which time I realized that there were other games out there such as Palladium's Rifts and Palladium Fantasy, and then I dove into those as well too. And I've always been a big fan of checking out new games and different game systems and trying to find the ones that I really, really love. But I always have a very strong part in my heart for the old school type of games, especially first and second editions D&D. And this one emulates that very, very well. And I want to go into it today and talk a little bit about today. The great thing about this game and what Chris Gonerman has done with this, and what I think was a genius on his part, is that to introduce people to role-playing, he's provided the rules for this game and all the artwork and everything free on the website. And I'll put a link down below of where you can go and get this stuff. The PDF is absolutely free. You can get the print copy, the softback, paperback copy, for $5 at, I believe Amazon has them for $5. And I'm not really sure about the hardcover, to be honest with you. Like I said, I got this as a trade with somebody over on Google Plus, and so I'm not sure. I'm sure you can probably buy the hardcover on Amazon as well too. It doesn't really appear to be a Lulu product, but it could very well be. Oh, here's the website right here. So www.basicfantasy.org. That's where you can get the rules. And for this completely free, if you want to do just to download the PDF. And it's not a very huge product, but there's so much packed in this book. And let me just crack it open and I'll show you what I mean. So a very well designed product. It's all black and white inside. The paper quality is fairly decent. Goes into a little bit of introduction about what this is, what a role-playing game is. That's pretty standard stuff you'll find at any kind of role-playing product. Jumps right into character abilities and how to roll them and different types of things. Now this is, again, like I said, this is and it's right in the name, it's basic fantasy role-playing. So you're not going to get a billion different options, but you get enough that you could play this for years and never get bored. So you've got your main character races, and they're going to be, this is not like tied to the super old school stuff where races were classes, but they're going to be separate as well too. So, but there is, and I'll show you when we get to classes a little bit. There's a little bit of a tie. Like you cannot, dwarves can only be certain things, but that's fine. That emulates the second edition of AD&D pretty closely as well too. So you've got dwarves, you got elves, you've got halflings, and you got humans. Those are your four choices. Again, those are the very traditional fantasy tropic type of races, and those will keep you busy for years and years. This is a very Tolkien-esque selection of races that you can play, and plenty of stuff there to keep you happy for a long, long time. Then we go into character classes. We have cleric, we have magic user, we have thief, and I missed one somewhere. Magic user, thief, and fighter. Sorry. So those are your basic classes. Excuse me. You can find more of those on the website. For free to download. There's a barbarian there. There's a illusionist or necromancer or something else. There's a bunch of other ones on the website as well. Anyway, that you can download, again, for absolutely free. And very, very cool. So we go right into equipment and the cost of equipment and vehicles and all this kind of great stuff. Spells. All the spells are here up to 10th level, which is cool. The characters do go all the way up, in case you were wondering, to 20th level as well, too. So this is going to be that old school emulation of, a cleric, I think 6 level spells and such. The other thing I think really great about this product is that all the spells are right here. They're right next to the character creation process, but they're all done alphabetically. They're not broken up by, this is a wizard spells, this is a cleric spells, this is whatever. They're all done alphabetically. So if you're looking for a spell at the table, it's very, very easy to find in here. You're not going to go, oh, is that a cleric spell? Is that a magic user spell? I can't remember. It's all just alphabetical. They're all in one big chunk right here. But they are spread out in here, detailed in what they are via magic user and cleric. So we're going to go through all the spells. Great little artwork in these things too. I love sort of just basic line drawn black and white artwork. I think it's phenomenal. It very captures my imagination and makes it feel to me, very old school. While I like some of the, cool, if you saw my video on Down Darker Trails for Call of Cthulhu, I do love historical artwork and paintings and stuff. I think that's a great way to emulate those games, but I feel that when you're playing sort of a basic fantasy, playing sort of an old school fantasy thing, I feel like the line drawn stuff just is very evocative of that culture, that type of a game. We go into the encounter and how the order of play works. All the rules are right here on everything from missile fire, how to attack, how grenade-like weapons work, oil, holy water, morale. It's all right here. Cleric table versus undead, energy drain. It's all right here. It's all very, very compact. And then we go into the monster section. And I love this monster section. For this book not being super, super long and not a giant tome. And this thing weighs in. Let me find out how many pages this is. But all told, we're talking 166 pages. This has one of the most comprehensive classic monster bestiaries I've ever seen in a book, and it's phenomenal. So we start off with, it's called the monster section, but we start off with just basic animals like war horses and mules and ponies, and we jump right into, in alphabetical order, assassin vines. Great artwork for this stuff. Amazing. Very, very evocative of the setting and old school stuff. So lots and lots of monsters, and again, we're at D, and we've already flipped through tons of pages. So there's dragons, dragon turtles, and there's just a plethora of great stuff in here. Very classic stuff: giant eagles, elementals, elephants. Skip ahead a little bit further: bronze golems, amber golems, stone golems, gorgons, griffins, hangman's trees, hobgoblins, hydras, living statues. I mean, it's all here, and there's tons of it, and most of them have really, really great artwork. There's a lizard man, were-rat, like lycanthropy and those kind of things, Medusa, minotaurs. It's all here, and there's tons and tons and tons of them. And they're still going to Wraith, Wyvern. I mean, and I've just skipped the whole section here too. So lots of really great stuff. Then we go into treasure. And it's broken down in these very traditional tables. If you've played old school, like first and second edition AD&D, you'll be very familiar with these types of tables. No, there's no Thaco in this game. It is a roll a d20, add an attack bonus, or add any bonuses, and try to be an armor class. So it's an ascending armor class, not a Thaco or a descending armor class type thing, in case you were wondering. So again, gems and jewelry, this is all treasure and stuff. It goes into magic items and how they work, using magic items, magical armor, potions, all sorts of good stuff. Tons and tons of stuff packed into this book that you will never get bored of using this. And then there's already other great expansions over on the website for free as well too. There's also one that I downloaded that I thought was really cool. It was just I don't know what it was called. It was like the marketplace one or whatever, and it just had an entire PDF full of stats for everything from how much cloth costs to pants to short swords, long swords, slings, sling bullets, crossbows, wagons, a steak at a bar, a mug of beer. It had everything in there. It was an amazing PDF, so check that one out as well too. Wandering Monster tables for wilderness dungeons. I mean, it's all, if you've played the old school stuff, you've seen this before, but man, does this make it a very, very awesome, new, unique, and very accessible way to play these games. I think this would be a very great game to use to teach new people. I think it's very easy and easy to understand, and it's laid out in such a way that it's not confusing and works very, very, very well. The very back here, we go into more in depth of stuff. So you're kind of working your way in complexity through the book, and character creations in the very beginning, and get to a point in the character creation, or in the campaign play where you might want to build a stronghold. Here it all is right here. Number of followers the fighter might have. How to build the structures, and how to breach a castle, how to do sieges. So as the game grows in complexity, so does your characters and stuff as well too. Great stuff. Open gaming license, of course, as well. No character sheet, but if you're playing it old school, you're doing it on a piece of lined paper anyway. But there it is, man. Basic fantasy role-playing game, 3rd edition by Chris Gonnerman. Awesome product. I highly recommend, if you love any kind of old school type of gaming, pick this thing up, man. It is dirt cheap, and it is chock full of awesomeness. I don't know how he does it. It's got to be truly a labor of love to do this kind of thing and provide it for such a cheap price. Being free for the PDF, $5 for the paperback, and I'm assuming probably maybe $15 for the hardcover as well too. So with other products out there on the market right now, running $50, $60 for a rule book, and just the rule book, to have everything incorporated into one thing here, everything you'll ever need to run this game for years and years. Amazing stuff. So I think that's it for today. Until next time, I'm Questwise. We're out.